Hello, second grade. This is Module 3, Lesson 16. And our objective today is I can compare two three-digit numbers using less than, greater than, or equal to. So our application problem for today is at recess, Diane skipped rope 65 times without stopping. Peter skipped rope 20 times without stopping. How many more times did Diane skip rope than Peter? Go ahead and solve this problem. Push pause and then push play when you're done. Alright, let's compare answers. So you could have drawn a number bond to help you solve this. And we know that Diane skipped 65, so we put 65 in, and we know that Peter skipped 20, so we put 20 in. So we need to know how many more did Diane skip than Peter. So I did 65 minus 20, and I came up with 45. So Diane skipped rope 45 more times than Peter did. Okay, so I've got two charts here, and I need to know which one shows the greater value. What does greater mean? Does greater mean bigger or smaller? Right, greater means bigger. So which of these has the bigger or the greater value? Is it this one or is it this one? Now what we can do is we first need to look at the 100s place. The hundreds place is going to tell us if it's greater. So this chart here does not have any 100s in it, but this one does. So because this one has one 100s and this one doesn't have any, which one is going to be greater? Right, this one is. So this one has 74 in it. This one has 174. And by looking at these numbers, you can also see that this one has a hundreds place, this one does not. So that means that 174 is going to be greater, and I need to read this from left to right. So with this symbol, it says that 74 is less than 174. Okay, so now we're going to compare these two. First, we need to look at the ones place. This has a 1, and this has a 1. So now let's go to the tens place and compare the tens. This one has 0 tens, and this one has 3 tens. So which one has more tens? They both have the same amount of ones, but this one has more tens than this one. So that means that this, 135, is greater. So let's put our symbol in. Remember, our symbol mouth wants to eat the biggest number. So we're going to read this from left to right, and we're going to read it as 105 is less than 135. Alright, here's our next one. Let's first look at the hundreds place. So this has 2 hundreds, and this has 2 hundreds. So those are the same. Now let's look at the tens. This has 5 tens, and this has 5 tens. So those are the same. Now let's look at the ones. This has 7 ones, and this has 0 ones. So which one has more ones? We know that they have the same hundreds, the same tens, but this one has more ones than this one. So that means 257 is greater than 250. Let's put our symbol up. And remember, the mouth of our symbol is going to eat the bigger fish. So we're reading this from left to right as 257 is greater than 250. Try this one on your own. Remember, you need to first look at the hundreds, then look at the tens, then look at the ones if you need to. Okay, so let's compare answers. I looked and saw that these both have 3 100s. And then I look and I saw this has 8 tens and this has 7 tens. So which one has the most tens? This one, right? So this one is going to be greater. So I put my symbol like this, and we read from left to right, and we read it as 387 is greater than 378. Okay, here's our next one. Make sure to look at the hundreds, then the tens, and then the ones, and determine if they are, which one is greater or if they are equal. Alright, let's compare answers here. I looked at the 100s place, and they both have 700s. Then I looked at the tens, and they both have 110. Then I looked at the ones, and they both have 5 ones. So which one is greater? All right. They are equal because they are both the same number. This is 715. This is also 715. So they are equal. Okay, go ahead and try this one on your own. All right. Let's compare our answers. I looked and saw that this has 8 100s. This has 8 100s. Then I looked at the tens. This has 2 tens, and this has 3 tens. Which one has the bigger tens? Right, this one. So this one is greater. So I put the symbol with the mouth eating the bigger number, and we read from left to right, and we read it as 829 is less than 832. Alright, so I have 3 numbers here. I want you to write these numbers, and then below them make a chart using the place values, so hundreds, tens, and ones. And I want you to draw how many hundreds, tens, and ones are for each of these numbers. And then we're going to determine which of these numbers is greater, which of these 3 numbers. So go ahead and push pause, and then push play when you're done drawing those charts. Okay, so let's compare our charts here. This is what my chart for 472 looks like. I have 4 hundreds, 7 tens, and 2 ones. And for 274, I have 2 hundreds, 7 tens, and 4 ones. And for 724, I have 7 hundreds, 2 tens, and 4 ones. Now let's determine which number is greater. So let's look at the hundreds place for each of these numbers. This has 4, this one has 2, and this one has 7. So which one has the greater number of hundreds? Right, the 724. So that means that this number, 724, is the greatest. Okay, now it's your turn. You need to get your exit ticket. You're going to do numbers 1 through 8, and then you're going to take a picture and seesaw it to your teacher. Good luck.